Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana, and today we are talking about Daryl Dixon, Season 2, Episode 4. Wow, we're at Episode 4, Renee. I can't believe it. How are you, Renee?
I am very well excited to talk about the episode. How about you?
I'm very excited to talk about the episode. So much happened. I was bursting at the seams. So we are going to start off with our question of the day, and then we'll let you think about it. We'll think about it, and we'll answer it a little bit later on in the podcast episode. So the question of the day is, which character do you think Laurent would connect with most back at home, and why? Okay. Because he might be traveling with our friends to the Commonwealth. So we'll have to see who Renee picks, because I'll be really curious. Also, our question of the day last week was, how would Daryl react to a loss? Like, how would he take it if he lost someone? And we actually had a listener give us a voicemail, which was very exciting. I loved hearing from all of you. So it was great to actually get a voicemail. So I'm going to see if I can play this. Okay. I'm probably going to have to read it. Okay, this is what they said. Hi there. This is to answer the question of the day for the Daryl Dixon episode. I think that if Isabel does unfortunately not make it, and then she alludes to seeing spoilers, which she thinks that she's not going to make it. Okay, because this is last week before we saw this week's. And he says, we've seen him suffer through the loss of Beth. And he went off on his own, and he just wasn't the same. He was beside himself. I believe with Glenn also, he was really hurt. Maybe if they plan it right, that he might lose someone, but he'll gain Carol. And she does reference that she's not talking about in a romantic relationship, but just that he'll have Carol, to be there for him. That is the gist of answering the question of the day. So that was her reaction to it. And I hadn't thought about, when we were talking about, I didn't even think about Beth or Glenn. I was just kind of thought about the current happenings. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I agree, because I think I might have mentioned that he's gone off in the past when he's lost someone. We saw it with Beth. We saw it with Rick. We saw, where he's just done his lone wolf thing. And, with Glenn, it was hurt, but it was also, that was guilt, because that was, his fault. And so it was I agree with some of what she said, for sure.
Yeah, it was Negan's fault.
We'll discuss that another time.
Was it Daryl's fault?
Daryl hit Negan. If Daryl didn't hit Negan, he wouldn't have killed the second victim.
Did he hit him? I can't even remember. I hate seeing that scene. He actually hit him. I thought he just got up and did something. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he hit him, and that's why he had Dwight grab him and throw him in the van and kill Glenn.
Okay, so people let us know that too, okay? Correct us on, or me. Correct me. Correct me on this.
And I'm a diehard Daryl fan, and I'll stand on that hill that it was his fault.
Yeah. It's not his fault. He didn't know that was going to happen. Whose fault is it?
The man's bashing in skulls. You probably should calm down a little, Daryl. Just wait till, let this play out. No, it was horrible. I hate that episode. Gosh, I hate that episode.
I hate that episode too. It's horrible. But anyway, back to Daryl Dixon. We're going to discuss the deaths that happened and the loss that he suffers here. So, okay, we're going to get to that in just a moment. I wanted to check in with you, Renee, to see if you had any news that you wanted to bring up before we actually dig into the episode.
Yeah, if everybody tuned into anything going on at New York City Comic Con, we learned that Dead City comes back in the spring of 2025, and we got a little teaser clip, and Negan has his leather jacket and Lucille 2.0 or whatever version of that. I don't remember where we're at with what version of Lucille he's on now. So that'll be very interesting to see how all that plays out. And one thing that really stood out with the teaser to me was Maggie's saying, right now the quote has escaped me, but she says something about why talking to someone. We don't know that she's talking to Negan, but she's like, why are you so ready to go back? So she really could be talking to, she could be talking to other, like Pearlie Armstrong or, somebody like that. But it's kind of, it makes us think she's kind of speaking to Negan. And then I remember that she doesn't know that he had that conversation with the Dama and all that she had done, with the conversations with Herschel and his pinky toe. I don't know that she knew about that, and all those things. So anyways, It's just going to be interesting to see because she's probably not talking to Negan because he was already there, but it was just made me think a lot. But anyway, it was a great little teaser clip to see what's coming in the next season. So spring 2025, Dead City is coming back. And I think they have 8 episodes, if I remember. I want to say that this season has 8 episodes for them.
Maybe that's the extra 2. Remember, I brought it up. I said, with Daryl Dixon. And I'm thinking, I thought somebody was giving us extra 2 episodes somewhere. So maybe it was this.
Yeah, I want to say it's Dead City that gets 2 episodes extra. They're going to have 8, I believe. So I would have to look that up for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's. So anyway, exciting. And we got, Kim Coates joining this season, which I'm very excited to see him. He's going to be a great bad guy. And again, the name escapes me of the new gal that's joining. They've announced a girl and can't think of her name, but they did do a teaser picture of her in character. So that was kind of neat to see a new, person too. So yeah, exciting news coming.
And that's very exciting. I was hoping that you would bring that up. So I'm so glad that you did.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into this episode. I may have not said thank you to our listener for leaving us a voicemail. We really do appreciate that so much. So anyone out there, we would love to hear from you. And of course, to get in contact with us is in our show notes. And I'll give out our phone number a little bit later on, but that is also in the show notes. So you can reach out to us and let us know what you think about this episode or anything that we talk about, or to correct me in not remembering that Daryl hit Negan. But anyway, we're going to get to this episode because so much happened. It was shocking deaths, emotional reunions, and just major developments. I was like, oh my gosh, all this stuff happened. And it was longer than usual too. A longer episodes. So what, of all these deaths, there was multiple deaths. What struck you? What do you want to talk about first?
Well, Isabel, because I think that's forefront on everybody's mind because it was very unfortunate. I wasn't real shocked because I kind of thought with Carol it just seems like they always can only have one person in Daryl's life. He can only have one person. He can't have, you know what I mean? And I was sad because I like her a lot. And I was hoping there was a lot of potential. So I feel like a lot has been lost by her loss, like for even us as, fan viewers watching it, over Daryl especially. But I think, I feel like she was one of the best new characters in this series. And so I was very excited to have her hopefully join them. And I really was very excited to see more. Like, I liked what we saw with her and Carol. That was, Carol didn't know who this girl was and she just takes care of her. And
yes,
and I love that. But I was hoping to see more of them together with Daryl because I thought that dynamic could have gotten very interesting. So I was really hopeful for that. So I was really sad about her death, and I didn't like it. And to see Daryl go through that, of course, we always are sad when Daryl's sad.
Yes.
So I was really sad about her death. I don't know what you thought about Isabel's death.
Well, of course, I was. It's like I kind of said it last week, right? When I got that inkling, I'm like, wait a minute. And I didn't get the inkling from anything but watching the episode. I hadn't heard about it. I didn't realize she wasn't cast in the, future season. I didn't know anything. I got that feeling from watching the latest episode. So then here, of course, you could see what was happening. But what I did appreciate about before her death was her standing up for her beliefs with Losang and just telling him about Laurent being a human being and that he bleeds. And yet, yes, he's hope. Yes, he's humanity. Yes, he's what people need. He can give people hope, but he's still human and he still can die. And then how he says, oh, this is Daryl talking. And she's all, no, he woke me up to false prophets. And that's, now I see. And so, oh my gosh, I just thought that was, I thought that was really great moment for her. And then I was still kind of holding out hope that maybe she would not die. And I knew it was probably going to be Carol to save her, because at that point, Daryl is still locked up.
Yeah, he was still locked up. Yeah.
Still locked up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, when he does come out and he's all, no, 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 no. And it reminds me of the times when death has impacted him that way, that sort of his reaction. And even his brother, with his brother dying too.
Yeah.
God, I'm thinking of all these deaths that have happened to him or around him or people he has cared about. But yeah, so I just thought it was totally devastating. I'm sad to lose her. I'm sad that she won't be on the show anymore. But I mean, it's The Walking Dead, right? And and if they didn't do it, it would almost be like, oh yeah, they're always giving us these false, almost dying. So it kind of served its purpose too. Poor Daryl.
Yeah.
So. So the other big death was Genet. I was shocked. So tell me what you thought about this. Did you see it coming?
No, not up until they're standing there with her, then I'm like, she's dead, but before that, no, I expected her to last. I mean, I thought maybe she'd die at the end or whatever, but I didn't expect it to do it this early because we still have 2 whole episodes left.
Yes.
And so it's like, I mean, I get that Losang is, a contender for the new big bad, but he is he's not Genet. I mean, she is ruthless. I mean, that woman has no remorse, she's just, I think Losang's losing his mind, but I don't think he's the evil that she is. And so, no, I was sad to lose. I was sad, she's such a great actress and does such a great job at that. Just cold-hearted. She just did such a fabulous job. And so I was surprised, very surprised. And again, she's another one I hate to lose because I think she's just done a phenomenal job as the villain. Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see where this goes the last 2 episodes then.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I was totally shocked so bad. I thought, she's not supposed to die yet. We just learned of her backstory and she's the villain. She's the one that they have to fight with till the end. So it blew my mind and I love it. That's why I think this episode was so exciting because so many moments just blew my mind. And then the fact that Carol shot her with that serum and the reaction she had, and she's like trying to get, it's like that itch you're trying to get on your back. And you can't reach it. You're like, I can't reach it. And then she sees herself in the mirror, seeing her face contort and change and morph. And she became like this monster. I thought it was the coolest thing. I'm sure Greg Nicotero had so much fun doing this, makeup and everything else, because that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
And what a poetic death. It's like she did this and this is what she's been doing to people. And then she has to watch herself transform. I was like, oh my gosh, now this is good storytelling.
Yes. Ooh, I thought that was good. So the other big thing that happened here was Daryl and Carol's reunion that we were waiting for and their journey too. So let's talk about first their reunion. What did you think? How'd you feel?
You're not going to like my answer. I was like, that was it. To me, it was just like, they just replayed Terminus and their reunion there. It was exactly the same. I was like, that's all we're getting. I was so disappointed. I really was. Yeah. I was like, I was so looking forward to it. I'm not like Carol's number one fan here, but I like Carol, and I like Carol and Daryl together because they're always so good together. So I was very excited about this. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I was very, very disappointed because I was like watching thinking, okay, that was exactly how it happened when they reunited after Terminus. And it was basically the same thing. And so not too happy with it.
What did you expect, do you think? Were you hoping for do you know what you were hoping for?
Just something more dramatic. I think more Carol coming in guns blazing. I know she did, but it was just, to me, it was just so, she blew up Terminus. and then she reunites. She kills some of the, these people, and then they reunite. And so the lead up to it was great, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but like I liked some of that part of it. Like, anyway, I just thought it was so quick. How long is this? That was the other question I had in mind. How long has it been since she found out he was in France and she's already found, it was just so rushed and everything. But no, I expected the reunion to be a lot more dramatic. And I don't know what in my brain, I didn't really have like a play out of that, just more dramatic, I guess.
Yeah.
And so
I can see that. I can see what you're saying. And it was similar to Terminus. I did get chills though. It did. I got chills up and down my arm when they hugged because I felt like I felt it, the love that they have for each other, because I know in real life as actors and as people, they really care about each other. So just reading a little bit about how important that scene was for them. So to me, I felt it for them. But yes, I can hear what you're saying and I can understand how you wanted something different or a little bit more. Someone coming in from somewhere, I don't know where, and swooping up, shooting with the camera, swinging swinging on a branch or
John
something.
McClane style coming in. I don't know.
Yes, exactly. Shooting everybody up, and Daryl's like, what the hell's happening?
It's Carol. I don't know. But I did appreciate his reaction after the first hug, and then he looked back at her and he just that emotion just caught. That was very good Norman Reedus acting there, because that part did get me. So I did like that, because he needed that emotional release, and he needed to see that familiar person. So I will say I wasn't 100% a letdown, because that last bit of him and that emotion really did. I did like that a lot.
Yeah. It was good. I love how he looked at her again, and then see, this is why I got chills. All right. So there was a journey, and I thought it was very cool to watch them throughout this whole episode. So many things. So there were some things that resonated with me. So what did you think? What stuck out to you about what they talked about during this episode?
I don't know. There was a lot of weird things, like the whole who came back, and that again, that was another big letdown. I'm like, that's all there was so much potential for. I mean, they could have gone anywhere with that. There was so much. I've written several articles about other people, other outlets, media outlets have written all these, like, what could it be? Like over analyzing. And then it was a feeling. I was like, what? I mean, and then they don't even elaborate. Like, that's all.
Yeah.
Feeling. What? And I just felt, I mean, maybe I missed it, but was there any elaboration on what her feeling was?
I thought when I went back and watched it the second time, now I might be not totally clear on this, but my thought was, I don't know if I'm getting this confused with why she left or not, but she said everything got really quiet and something about ghosts were haunting, or I got the feeling that she was thinking too much, like Sophia and everybody else, and that she had to get out of there. And I got the feeling like it was her being unsettled and having sort of like these ghosts revisiting her. And that's what she meant by it's back or whatever it is. So she needed to get out of there.
Yeah. Okay. Cause I just was like, to me, it wasn't like, I expected way more. I think everyone expected more there,
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I can see Carol in that setting of that too quiet, because she's got to be doing things, and she's got to be she's a busy person. She likes to be involved and do things. And so if it got too quiet, then I could see those like that, we had that episode where she kept seeing all the kids, they were coming back at her and stuff like that. So that makes sense. Then maybe I just didn't, maybe I was just like, that was it. And I know for a little bit.
I know, because we all had speculations about what that could mean.
Oh man, people were just all over the place with that. It was so fun reading all those articles that people were writing about what it could be. So that kind of stuck out to me. But I think then, as disappointed as I was with the reunion part of it, I loved what happened next with them. They're, like the conversations, I don't know, like I felt like there were just a lot of off, and they haven't seen each other for a while. So it's just like whatever, they're maybe forced, maybe that was intentional to make them feel a little bit awkward with each other, because it's been a bit. But I did like their journey to, was it Theo and, is it Dee? Was it Dee Dee?
Dee Dee.
Yeah. I like that there, just how they got there and then trying to do these things. It was interesting to see all that. And back at the cave too, that was, Daryl's like, obviously he could tell that Laurent had been there and he knew, and somebody, he saw the extra footprints at one point, knowing that there was someone else with them and that kind of thing. So, that made it really interesting. But I felt that the whole Theo and Dee Dee thing was very predictable. How many times, just in this series alone, Daryl meets somebody and they whatever. And then Theo keeps going on about how, we had these different military interactions he's had throughout the years and how he's always this. And I'm thinking, so why wouldn't he give these guys whatever they wanted kind of thing? I don't know. I just felt it was very predictable because he had mentioned they've seen all these different military units come through, different Nazis and Americans and everybody else. And that gave him food or done whatever and dealt with them. So I guess I felt like, well, he's going to, betray Daryl and Carol. So I kind of thought that was a little predictable.
So much stuff. So their journey, I thought was, so when I watched it the first time, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't until the second time that I really saw their dynamic and their relationship. And, when they were traveling at first and he brings up that phrase that I'm not going to try and say because I took French, by the way, in high school. And so did Carol. Yeah. And she got her knuckles slapped with that ruler too. But the look on her face when she turns to him, when he does speak French, and she just has this look on her face, like laughing, like she thinks it's so amusing. And then he looks at her and just the way they react to each other. You don't get to see that with anybody else during this apocalypse because everybody has to be more serious or, whatever it might be. And to see these two, because they've known each other for so long, they've been friends for so long that they're able to laugh at each other this way.
Yeah.
And you see their relationship going through all kinds of things. We see them both going through grief different ways. Daryl not wanting to lose Laurent, losing Isabel, Carol going through, what it was to lose Sophia and having that come back to her and having Dee Dee there to support her and to uplift her and to let her know like, hey, I got through this. So will you. And which was exactly what Carol needed. It was so perfect that this person was there for her. And Daryl in the background watching that and how Daryl first doesn't want to accept being responsible for Laurent and Carol kind of pushing him like, this is your responsibility. And they're kind of butting heads on that aspect of it. But I enjoy that because there's moments when they laugh. There's moments when they're butting heads. There are moments when they're fighting like a couple, like in the car. Yeah. When he's all let up. And she's all, I thought I was letting up. How do I know when to whatever? And he says this, she says, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can totally relate to this because when you've been with somebody for a while, this is kind of the dynamic sometimes that you get into. So I loved watching Daryl and Carol's relationship in this. I really did. It was so good to me to watch all of those things. I don't know. Did you have any more thoughts on that?
Well, I wondered why, Daryl kind of changed his tune about Laurent. I was like, he was like saying, she said something about, he'll get along so well with, whatever and this and that. And then he's like, yeah, well, he has friends here too. And it's like, well, why would you? I mean, that you just said you didn't want to lose him. And then what do you, so I didn't understand that. And we didn't get much more on that. And
do you think he meant I don't want to lose him as meaning death? Like he didn't want him to die is what I think he didn't want. I don't know that he meant.
But I mean, why would you leave him in Paris then with everybody wants to give him a walker bite, that was going to. So I just didn't understand. Now I understand maybe he's just thinking he can't do it by himself first. I don't know. I just thought that was odd, especially with all these people who want to kill him. They want to use him as something that, I suppose he can give hope to humanity and things, but the boy's going to die if they bite him with a walker, So I just, that part I didn't quite understand. But again, it might be like you said, he just didn't meant more of that he didn't want him to die, which that makes sense. So, but yeah, I guess it was just overall, it was fun seeing them together again. I think I've said it before where it's like, doesn't matter what happens between these two. They always come, they can have a big fight where they don't agree or whatever, go their separate ways and then come back. It just shows you their true, I always say kindred spirits, because they are, they're, it's more than just a friendship, but I don't feel it's a romantic thing, but it is definitely more than just a regular friendship. These two are just, they're just very compatible. So it is fun to see them together again.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do like how all those moments that Carol brought up people back home. It was nice to hear their names. I don't know. There's just something about mentioning Judith and Connie. And because at first she's a little bit concerned, like, does he not want to come back home? It's like, oh, I got a plane. You got a deal going on over here. We can get on it. And everybody misses you. And she starts putting out names. And I feel like she's trying to get him like, okay, remember all this?
Yeah.
Don't forget about all these people that care about you. And she gives later on how she gives him the little thing that Judith made for him. And he lays back and he looks at it. And I think, God, he misses Judith too.
Yeah.
And about how Judith didn't want Carol to leave, but she knew that this was the only way that she had to, and that this is how she was going to find Daryl. It's funny, but in my brain, I'm thinking, man, Judith is probably everybody's leaving me to go find somebody else, and I have to wait here. As these people go off to go do whatever it is they got to do.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen her in like a trunk or the back seat of a car or something. With Carol, she came along for the
ride. Right. Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yes, that would have been fun. Actually, that would have been fun to watch her.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there was something. Oh, wait. There was something else that came to mind with the Judith thing. And, when Daryl tells Carol, I never gave up on coming home to you. Mm-hmm. And then he says, I made this deal and things just kept getting in the way and I couldn't. And then she says something about you loved her, meaning Isabel. And I thought, wow, that was so huge. I thought for her to say that. He doesn't say anything. That's when he says, Laurent's coming back with us, right? Because I felt like that was that last hump for them, throughout this whole episode. Like I said, because they went through different phases of their relationship with each other. And then finally it was like he had come through with that Dee Dee telling her, you're going to get through this. And I think that's what she needed. And then Daryl maybe needed to witness that and other things in order to realize, Laurent needs to come home with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, So I thought it was a great journey for the both of them. And it was I really did enjoy this episode. But in getting to that, it all started at the beginning when she's going to be shot and become a super zombie. So what did you think of that whole beginning sequence?
Well, we all knew Carol would survive, but how was the big question, which a lot of people always, we know she survives. Yeah, but you don't always know how. So it's fun to watch, whatever. And wasn't it that guy that had to eat the stew off the ground who she had behind?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, I just really enjoyed that little extra piece there. So yeah, it was just so cool, because we always know Carol she figures her way out of everything. And then I love when she jumps on that Jeep with padrones tied to it and she's taken off. Yeah, so it was just fun to see all that. I just liked, all that action. It was like, she's just being Carol, I guess, that kind of stuff. And I love that she rescued Cadrone because there probably were other vehicles she could take. I mean, there were several vehicles there, but I would love that she took him, and that I just love that he's still on Laurent's side. He's telling her, go. Like she saved him and he's like, you go, I got this. Tell Dixon I did this for him or the boy or whatever he said. Yeah, for the boy. And so whatever reason that probably just being a child, maybe that like just kind of hits home or something for some reason. Maybe he had kids or has kids or something. And so I just, I loved all that action and it was just crazy to see how fast everybody turned. And, because she got accidentally shot with one, didn't she? Get like one of them?
Yes, and she was able to get it out.
Yeah, she was able to get it out quick. Yeah, because I was like, no, because we didn't know what it would do to a human.
Right.
Learn learn later, but
yeah.
with Genet. But yeah, so I loved it. I thought it was a great way to get her back in action and show us all, the cool stuff Carol can do, remind us of all that.
I love that. I loved it too. I was so glad that they started where they left off last episode.
Yeah.
They didn't skip it. And I thought, how the heck is she going to get out of this? And with them all on the ground, I got scared because I'm thinking these guys are fast, right? They're not just like going to slowly get up. I mean, she's going to have to move. And the thing is, they know, they can smell them or whatever and see them. And then she gets up and I'm like, oh my God, Carol, how are you going to get out of this? So I loved it how she hopped on. But I have to tell you, I busted out laughing when she takes off and they're all chasing that Jeep or whatever vehicle it was. I mean, I was laughing both times. I mean, like laughing because it's so funny because they're wild. They're loud. Yes. And they're running fast. And it was so funny because Jerome's all, what are you doing? Stop it. Like his panic, like, get in the car, start it again. Let's go, and she stops because the gate is closed. And then right then they open the gate from main place that they're at. It explodes. Oh, perfect. And then they go in. Of course, Carol doesn't get shot, hit by any of those shots coming straight at her with no windshield. So I don't know how she didn't get shot, but I'm okay.
She's
okay
Carol.
with it. Yeah, she's Carol.
It's called plot armor.
Yes, I like that. I like it. I also thought, why didn't any of those walkers turn to get Genet's people? Like, why did they all of them chase?
Maybe because it was moving, because they're attracted to sound.
I guess
it's heightened with these whatever. I don't. Yeah. But yes, that was pretty comical.
Yeah, it was very comical. Yeah, and I do love Jerome in this, and that you were anticipating. Are we going to get to see him again? Yeah, he was going to be this, bait for all these walkers. So, man, did you notice that Genet? All she did was smile through the whole thing. Like she could have cared less about
she has nothing. Like, watching that her husband get killed just like transformed her into the Ice Queen. She has nothing. There's nothing. Yeah, it's just crazy how she is, and her smile is very sadistic. It's like, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've watched her in interviews and she's just such the sweet, cutest little thing when she's just talking and stuff. It's like, man, she can really act.
Yeah. In talking about Genet, and I was thinking about something that she said to Losang, because she does tell him, like, don't think about a future because you don't have one. Mm-hmm. So we see Losang in this, in which I thought that he was going to be the one to die probably in this episode. And she was the one who was going to continue her reign. That's what I thought was going to happen, but it switched. It switched here, which I thought was genius. So what did you think about Losang and everything that he signifies and his doing?
Yeah, I agree, because I did see a spoiler before I finished the episode because I had been traveling, so I didn't get to watch it ahead of time. So I did see where two people died, and so that I was like, oh, I thought Isabel and Losang. That's who I thought it would be. So so I was surprised that it wasn't him. But he, he's got all those followers, but at the same time, he is no Genet. You know what I mean? He's not as evil. Like, he might be kind of losing his mind or something, because he does act very crazy, some of the things he says and does, and he's so obsessed with Laurent and what he thinks he can do, kind of thing, but I just feel like, like, what is it, Sabine and Jacinta, I think maybe her, like, they shared a look. I don't know if you saw that, but Sabine looked at her. There was a look exchange between those two, and I felt like this was their plan somehow. There was some sort of plan all along. I think I've mentioned it before, that I just feel like there's some other thing going on. And so we kind of just shared a very brief look. And right when Losang was talking in the group, and talking to everybody about forgiveness, everything's forgiven and everything and all that. And they just kind of look at each other. So I was like, what was up there? But anyway, so I just feel like there's someone else calling the shots, that he's got the following, people are listening to him, they respect him. But I mean, he's still obsessed with getting Laurent. He wants to get this kid bit and see what happens. And I just, it's like, an obsession with him now, and he's just got to, feels that's going to fix everything, I guess. But yeah, he's kind of unhinged at this point, I think.
He totally is, because he uses things that happen, circumstances, to say as if God is directing everything, but it all falls in his favor, right? Like anything that happens is falling in his favor. Oh, like I thought maybe, God took me away from him and that's why, but no, it was because of you, of Genet. It was Genet. That's why he's, was taken away. So it's always, he's manipulates what he sees to fit his agenda, which is crazy.
Like any good cult leader does.
Exactly. Right. So yeah, I thought that was like, yeah. He killed Isabel. I mean, he killed her. It's like crazy that he just did that. It's like, wow. So that was shocking that he would do that to her. So I don't know. Maybe he thought she would live. I don't know. Cause Genet comes and says, oh yeah, we found the nun. She's not going to be able to tell us anything anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of looks at her like, oh man, I guess I killed her,
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You've got blood on your hands, buddy. So that'll be interesting what we see next. All right. So I was surprised to not see Laurent in this episode. I would say that was a big surprise to me. I kept waiting. I really was waiting. I'm like, we're going to see him. We're going to see him. And they did not show him. So I actually missed him. So in revisiting our question of the day about what character do you think Laurent would connect with most back at home and why? I don't really have an answer, but I'm going to come up with one. I'm going to let you give your answer.
So I think it would be Judith, because I think he would be impressed with a child about his age, around, they're about the same age. She's a lot smaller than he is, and because he's a pretty tall kid, and things like that. And so I think he would see this tiny little girl who is a survivor, and she's fierce and she's not afraid of anything. And I think that he would just be very intrigued by that, like he is with Daryl. He has that hero worship of Daryl, because Daryl can fight and Daryl can do these things. And so I feel like him and Judith would just, and of course Judith, she's always very accepting of everybody. She'd just bring him right into their little group and be ready to show him whatever she knows, like she has with the other children. So I just think that would be a fun little relationship, and I think that they would get on really well. And I think he would be just really impressed with her, because he's not in those skills. I mean, Daryl's trying a little bit, but she's lived it her whole life. So that's who I thought.
Yeah. Well, of course, for me, I originally thought Judith, but only because of age. Age, is what I thought. And Judith is so open and she's so brave and she's a really good person. And so I really like Judith so much. So I thought, that would be easy. But I was trying to think of an adult that would relate to him. And there are a lot of them. Like a lot of them come to mind. But the very first one that just popped in my brain that I didn't really give much thought, and then after I thought about it, I'm like, this could work, is Jerry. And I don't know why, but I feel because Jerry kind of has a good heart about him, I feel like Laurent could relate to that and see that. And so I thought, oh, that would be fun to see him and Laurent get along in the Commonwealth. So, even Ezekiel. See, everybody's popping into my brain. I'm thinking Sean, all kinds of people. But I don't know. It would be great. I just would love to see it. I would hope that we can see it somehow, but I don't know that we'll ever get to see that. But it would be fun. Yeah, it would be fun to see. Okay, friends out there, what do you think? We would love to know your answer to this question. What character do you think Laurent will connect with most back home and why? And you can reach out to us on social media. You can comment here on YouTube, and you can even call us at 669-223-8542 because we would love to hear your answer. All right, we are at our segment, and the award goes to. So, Renee, what was your favorite quote, character, or moment?
I I have to go with Cadron protecting Carol. I have this weird thing with him. Like, I know he was a horrible person to start out and stuff, but he had that change of heart because of the kid or whatever. I don't know we'll learn more about that, if there whatever, like a backstory for him and he had kids and lost them, or I don't know. But I just really like that he's kind of changed, he's still tough and, he's still himself, but he, has the child in mind. And so I love that he protected Carol and just was ready and willing to go out there with those super guys, and who knows, what would happen with him and all that. So I just thought that was just a fun moment, for him to protect Carol like that.
It was very cool. Very cool. I'm so glad that we got to see him again.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all know how much I love Carol and Daryl, and I would pick them over and over again. I got chills. I got tears. Actually, when I watched it the second time, I actually got tears with Isabel and Daryl. So I'm actually going to give that moment to them because it's Isabel's last moment. And I thought she was a great character. She's a great actress. I love when people, not that I want them to die, but they die with what they believe wholeheartedly, and they're going to protect what they need to protect. And so if you can go out in that way, that's the best way on The Walking Dead or any spinoffs to go out, is protecting the ones that you love. And for her to say "je t'aime" to Daryl as she was dying, and to tell him about the fireflies. Yep. I had tears. So I would say that moment really, really moved me. So, but I really enjoyed this whole episode. So what are your thoughts on what's coming up? Like, what do you think is going to happen next? Do you have any thoughts?
I just don't know. I'm like, even watching the trailer, the little clip of what's coming. It was good to see Ash, though. He was there. That doesn't mean he's going to live, doesn't mean he's going to last long, but we did see a clip of him, so I was like, oh, okay, he's still alive at this point, but, and I just hope if he does die, we see something, because I don't want it just to be like, oh, there's another character we never hear from again. But it's really difficult, with just 2 episodes left. They're trying to push this new big bad into there. It's going to go quick, whatever does happen. But I just don't have a lot of predictions, because the season has already kind of been all over the place, where we like lost, Genet when we did, oh, wow, that was not a thing people thought, and that kind of stuff. And Laurent's still missing him. Is he just with Fayu, or is he, is there another person, or was that a walker? Who knows what was happening. So there's just a lot of up in the air things that they've got to tie up here in 2 episodes. So it'll be interesting to see.
Oh, man, I don't know what's going to happen. I also saw in the previews, we saw that woman that was at that, what's the name of that place? I can't remember the name of the place right now. That bar type of place. Yeah. I can't even think of what it is, but that they show her again. And I'd forgotten about her, and I thought, oh, that's cool. So they're going to somehow revisit that place, or she's going to be around. And then she says something to them that I can't quite remember what it is, but it's basically what people will do, I think, to that effect.
And she was featured in one of the original teasers, now that you say that. And she said, Daryl Dixon, you're still alive. And he says something like, for now, or something, or something like that. So I remember, now that you've said that, I was like, oh yeah, she was featured in one of the early teasers. So so the Demimonde, wasn't that what it was?
What was it called?
The Demimonde, was that what it was called?
Maybe. Maybe. I don't.
Yeah, but it was Laurent's dad who was, he was running it with, who was his girl or whatever. So so it'll be neat to. So it looked like they were in that place, so that means they're back in Paris, and so it'll be interesting to see.
It will be. You're right. 2 episodes. What are they going to do? And well, we know they're going to try and look for Laurent. Now, I would love it if Laurent would show a touch of miraculous something, that would be like so much fun. That I hope that they do something where you're kind of like guessing, like, wait, did that happen, or was it just that? I hope they leave us guessing a little bit. I'm not talking about guessing like plot wise or character wise, but just ability wise. I just hope.
I know what you mean. Yeah. So and that could be, honestly, that could be a really good way for them to segue why they have to leave, and go to Spain, because, people are going to, if there is this like even hint of something miraculous, they're going to come after him. They're going to continue that, and then it might drive them to Spain or something. I don't know. So yeah, that would be cool. So.
Okay, well, stay tuned. We have 2 more episodes to talk about. I love it. All right, so this concludes our conversation on Daryl Dixon, episode 4. Actually, I do want to say one last thing. We got to see who the person was that let Daryl out. And it wasn't a kid and it wasn't a woman. It was a guy. And I don't even know who he was.
We both got it wrong, I guess. Yeah. Some kid.
Well, we couldn't. It was all I saw was the hair.
I know.
Short, curly hair. I thought it was going to be somebody more, but
but just a scared guy running.
Yes, exactly.
Understandably so, yeah.
Okay, you know what was funny was that walker came and was, and then it was like, oh, I give up, I can't get in, and then it takes off. It was so funny. It's like,
I think it was funny because the guy here, I think it was the people from the nest were actually there with their guns and stuff. So maybe he smelled them and thought, oh, okay, I've got a better chance on this side of the gate. Yeah, it was funny. And I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, it was funny. All right. So we're going to move on to our TV and movie recommendations. So Renee, what do you have for us this week?
So I actually watched new things this time. And I watched a Netflix movie called Girl Haunts Boy. And I watched it because Peyton List, I think is her name. She was in this other series. She was in School Spirits. Did you watch that?
Okay, but I don't know if you don't watch it. She's in Cobra Kai.
Oh, you know what? I did see that on IMDb. I didn't even think to tell you that one. Okay, so she's in that, but I like her. So I've watched, this is the second thing that I've seen her in. I know. I need that. It's on my giant list that you've given me for homework. I will. But anyway, so it's called Girl Haunts Boy, Peyton List from school. And then she was in a series on Netflix here that did get renewed for a second season called School Spirits. And it's about these kids who have died like in the school. And so then they come back and stuff, but they can't leave the school and all this. But it's a really good series. It's a cute, just a teen coming of age that kind of series, but it was really good. But I liked her a lot in that. So when I saw she was in this, I was like, well, I want to see this. And then Michael Cimino, I'm not sure it's Cimino. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he was in Never Have I Ever, which I haven't watched, but I really liked the two of them together. And so he moves to a new house and her name's B. And I guess I always hate to say too much. I'm trying to think how much I can say without giving away anything. I guess it's not really giving anything away, but she's a ghost and that's her house. And so then he moves into the house and then it's just what happens next. But it was really cute. And again, more of a kind of coming of age, I suppose, or that, I guess not necessarily, well, maybe coming of age, I guess, but it was a more teen oriented kind of movie, but it was very cute. I liked it a lot. So that one was really good. And then on your recommendation, I watched Lonely Planet, right? Is that the right?
Yes. It's,
Laura Dern and Liam Hemsworth. And it was just a really good romance, and it wasn't predictable like a lot of them, which I watched a couple recently that have been very unpredictable. And it's just so refreshing because I don't sit there. I love it when I watch, especially a rom-com, you're like, oh, here this comes or whatever. And it's different than what you think. And that's how I felt this one was. And I know it didn't get a lot of great reviews, but I know you enjoyed it and I really enjoyed it. So I recommend you see it if you like romance and things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those are the two new things I watch. And then I go through my Halloween watching thing. So I watched Coraline, the whole thing for the first time. My daughter loves it. And so she's always watched it, but I've never sat down and watched the entire thing.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah. It's a very interesting story. And so that was really good. And then I love the Addams Family. It's the animated one from 2019. And it's just such a cute animation style. And it's just so fun. I love Addams Family. They're just so goofy and all these things happen. So that one was really good too. I recommend if you haven't watched that, watch that. I think there's a second one also, if I remember correctly. And then I rewatched these, and those, I guess I hadn't watched either one of those, but I rewatched Halloween one with Rob Zombie's Halloween. So I am a huge Halloween fan, and people always ask about the Rob Zombie ones because they're different. And I'm like, you just have two movies as standalone movies. They're his interpretation of Michael Myers' story, and the only thing I don't like about them is that it gives Michael a backstory. And that's like, and then Michael Myers. Michael's just crazy. He just does the things he does. That's what he does. But it's just someone else's interpretation of it. And very well done. Scary and fun and very, traditional Halloween, a lot of that stuff, and great actors in it and stuff. So I just really enjoy it. So that was a rewatch, but that's my Halloween ones.
Awesome. I love it. So the movie Girl Haunts Boy, is it a brand new movie? Do you know? Or if it's just
yeah, it just came out recently because I think it popped up at the top of my Netflix thing, and I'm like, oh, that's that girl. And so I clicked on that because I recognized her face. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I have to watch this thing because I just think she's just really a good little actor. And I guess not little, she's probably an adult. I don't know, but she's
she is.
Yeah, she's a great actress, and I really just enjoyed her in that School Spirits series, and so that's why I clicked on it, and then I thought, well, I better check it out.
Yeah. She plays like the bully in Cobra Kai for a while. Yeah. So she's she's gone through some things though, which they explore. But yeah, I love Cobra Kai. So go watch Cobra Kai, everybody. It's one of my favorite shows. I'm a Karate Kid fan, so Cobra Kai just is up my alley. Love the show. It's funny. It's fun. So watch it. Yeah. What?
One cute thing in that. And the Girl Haunts Boy, she plays a character from the 1920s. So she dresses like that and stuff. So it's that part's a lot. I always love a good costume, So
yeah,
that's another thing. So anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, I only have a couple because I watch all my reality TV shows and they're like bursting at the seams right now. So I'm The Voice, Dancing with the Stars, Survivor, all those. So I'm watching all of those. Oh, and Love is Blind, the next portion dropped. Yeah. I was watching that. But what I do want to recommend to everyone is Lincoln Lawyer is back on Netflix. I love this series. It's so good. I was reminded that it's a David E. Kelly written or produced show. So it's just really well done. I just love it. It's great. Mm-hmm. The acting is great. The stories are great. It's just very entertaining. So you can catch that on Netflix. And then I went to the movies and I watched Smile 2. So I had seen Smile 1 and I liked it. Smile 2, kind of raises the bar. It's really well done about a pop star. Naomi Scott portrays Sky Riley, and she is incredible in this role as this pop star. And you really kind of get to dive into pop star life. Like we see her dancing, we see her singing, we see her struggle. Again, this is not going to give that much away, me telling you this, but it starts off with that. It's her comeback because a year prior, she was in a car accident with her boyfriend or a guy. I don't know if it was her boyfriend, and he dies. And he was driving and he dies. And she was severely injured. And she had been using alcohol and drugs and such previously. And so now she's been sober. So now she's coming back as a comeback. And her mom's her like agent. And she has this other guy that helps her. Anyway, so that's her story. And you learn all about this in a horror. Like, who does this, right? You and I have talked about horror and having stories and having emotional connections. Mm-hmm. This one totally does. And I think that's why it's really well done because you really want to see, you really want her to survive or you want her to win or you want her to whatever it is. But if you know anything about Smile, it's about this entity using people as hosts and basically bringing out all their worst fears. And there's a death that occurs and the host transfers from one body to another. And so it's very, it's very scary. It's scary, but it's well done. I really enjoyed it. So do you have any plans to see it, Renee? I know you like to watch horror.
I love the first one. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed the first one. And my husband, we've been apart traveling separate areas. And so he got to see it already. And he was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So he loved it. Yeah. But he'll watch it again with me. So yeah, I'm very excited to see this one. So.
Okay, cool. I'm so glad. Yep. So those are my recommendations for you, but I do want to remind you that we have Screams in Focus. We just dropped our 4th episode on Tuesday. We have 4 episode Halloween series that concentrate on horror, TV, and movies. So please go check that out because we have a lot of fun discussing all these things. And Renee has hosted on a couple of those. So please check them out. And and let us know what you're watching because we would love to know what you're watching this Halloween season. Again, you can call us at 669-223-8542 or always comment here or on social media. And please remember to follow Screens in Focus. Okay, Renee, thank you so much for being here today.
Of course, always a pleasure. I love it, love it, love it. It's always so much fun.
I have to give a shout out again to you and your writing and Undead Walking. Please just share that real quick. And then I'll put it in the link in the show notes.
All right. Thank you. Yep. So I am the editor and writer for Undead Walking, and we cover everything in the Walking Dead universe from spinoffs to what the actors are doing, or if someone's having a baby or someone, whatever, we try to cover like a lot of different areas. And so, yeah, check it out at undeadwalking.com.
And in saying that, you reminded me, isn't in Smile 2 another actor, Kyle Gallner?
Yes,
right?
Kyle Gallner is actually a screen king now. He's officially called that. And follow him on social media. He's really fun. So things on his dog, like Instagram, his dog. But then he's got this other movie, Dinner in America, and I haven't watched it yet. But it's like one that it's very near and dear to his heart. And I think it's an indie film and stuff. But anyways, yeah. But he was in season, I forget what season it was now. It's when he was at 4. Was it 4 when they went to the grocery and
when they went to the
that whatever, and he's the one who's asking Daryl, like, what were you, before the outbreak? I think you were a cop, or something. He says something, Daryl just kind of lets him believe it. So that was him in his Walking Dead. But he was also way back. He was in The Haunting in Connecticut. He was the boy who had cancer in that movie. So he's like the main character in that movie. But he's got his Strange Darling. He's in that. And, he's in a lot of fun. He was in one of the more recent Scream movies and things. So yeah, they kind of call him, he's a street. But anyway, yes, he is in Smile. He was in the first one also. So yeah. Check him out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. See, I knew you would know that. That's why we go to Renee for everything. And that's why you should go to Renee for everything too. Make sure you subscribe. But yes, I do that because I get those emails direct into my email inbox, and I get 3 short stories that are fun to read. So I enjoy that. So I can keep up to date. All right. Well, again, thank you, Renee. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. We are grateful you joined us today. We hope something that we said today resonated with you, gave you a smile, a chuckle, some inspiration. Please don't forget to subscribe to Screens in Focus at screensinfocus.com. Please follow us. Please give us a call. We would love to hear from you. And remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.